Okay, we're back. I wanted to show you this, what I referred to as tying off the tree. What I do with these plastic growing containers is there's typically 2 holes on either end. I go ahead and drill 2 additional holes in the front and the rear as well. What I do is you can use string, you can use wire, which I've done here, or you can use whatever you have available to you. And basically what I do is I'll go on all 4 corners of this tree. Well, not this particular tree. This tree's got a flat enough base and it's large enough that I'm not going to have to worry about this. But it's very important to do this on smaller trees. The reason being is as soon as these things put out the little teeny fine feeder roots, any movement in the trunk, any movement of the tree in the upper portion is going to snap those roots, and that prevents nutrients from getting to the tree, which eventually can in turn kill the tree. Now this tree is large enough and it has a larger enough base and it's flat enough, I did a decent job cutting this one flat, that I'm not going to have to worry about tying this tree off. But the smaller trees, if you have trees that are in development and you're doing techniques where you need to cut the root base flat, stick it back in there and you have this big tall tree, make sure you tie them off like this. That's going to save you a lot of headache down the road when you have an unhealthy tree. If those fine feeder roots can get out there and be undisturbed by the wind blowing and moving the tree around, it's going to speed the process of the development of the tree. So I wanted to make sure I showed this to you on this particular tree, because typically I do this to my trees that are just recently collected to assure that they're going to have the stability that they need to grow the root base. I will do a 360 on this tree for you here. I'm not going to be fertilizing this tree, believe it or not, until maybe June. I'm going to let it be just like this, and it's going to receive water. It's going to receive sunlight. It's not going to be in direct sunlight. A lot of people say put them in direct sunlight. The heat will allow the pot to absorb heat, which in turn put heat in the ground, which in turn helps to develop rapid root development. It will have direct sunlight from about 7 in the morning till around 11:30 in the afternoon. After that, it will be dappled sunlight. I have some large trees that hang over my bonsai benches, which gives it the understory situation where it doesn't have direct sunlight, but it has direct light, or direct, it's hard to explain. But nonetheless, that's what I'm going to do, and it'll receive plenty of water. The organics that I have in the soil that I use is composted pine bark. The composted pine bark acts as a mild, at best, nitrogen source for the roots. So it'll receive a little bit, but not much. And then in June, I will use a combination of a product that I use. It's a time-release fertilizer. It's called Osmocote. It almost looks like soil particles. It's gray in color. And I use that as a broadcast over the surface of all of my trees. I also will come about twice a week and spray it down with Miracle-Gro dosage that I picked up. I'll show you the Miracle-Gro system that I use. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just has Miracle-Gro liquid feed, and it has a spray applicator that you stick this in and then hook the end up to a hose, and I water and feed all at the same time that way, and I'll do that twice a week. I have a overhead misting system. It's a little bit more intense than a misting system, but that's the best way for me to describe what it is. It's the pop-up sprinkler heads that spray in a 360 pattern, or they're adjustable, and I have those all the way along the wall of the area that my bench is in, and those will pop up and broadcast almost like a rain effect over all the trees. And that's done depending on the weather, of course, and depending on the temperature, once a day, once every other day throughout the growing season as well. And it's worked really well for me. You'll have to adjust due to your climate, and that's pretty much it. Hope this was informative to anybody that's watching this. Again, this is my projected front. That may change.